and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we are going to talk to Vice Mayor Jimmy Gray, but not about him being the vice mayor, about a nonprofit that he's the president of. It's called 200 Plus Men of Hampton Roads. Welcome, Jimmy.
Well, good morning, Robin, and thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. And I have to admit that it was only recently that I heard about this organization, and you've been involved for years. So tell us a little bit about it.
I've been a member of 200 Plus Men since 2005. I've been president of the organization since 2010, and I have a long history with working with the organization, chairing various committees and working on projects. And so when the opportunity came up to be president, I jumped at it at that time. It's a lot of work now, but I enjoy the work and the work that we do in the community.
You weren't even retired then. Were you still assistant city manager?
I was an assistant city manager at the time, and ironically, our founding president, Mr. George C. Crawley, the late George C. Crawley, passed away a couple of years ago. He was an assistant city manager in Norfolk, so we kind of share that common local government experience and involvement in the community.
How did this come about, and why did it come about? What is the need for this organization?
Well, 200 Plus Men was formed in 1997, and it was formed when a group of men from the region, mostly young men who were from the South Side, got together when Dr. Marie McDermott became president of Norfolk State.
A little slip.
Norfolk State University as the first woman president of that school. That group of men got together and decided to host a reception to recognize her for that accomplishment. And so such a large group of men came together to organize the event. And from there they decided that that there were other things that they could organize themselves for and to work in the community. And so they formed a membership organization, the Hampton Roads Committee of 200 Plus Men. And from there, the 200 Plus Scholars Breakfast, which is probably the event that we're most known for in the community, was the first event that they organized back in 1998.
And that is a really amazing and unusual event. But it's also interesting because a lot of the programs for young men are sort of intervention, getting people out of trouble, and this really is more about black male achievement, and you're affiliated with that group.
It is. The purpose of that event is to kind of counter some of the negative attention that African American males get in the community and on the news in the evening. I mean, there are a lot of things going on with violence in the community, and oftentimes too many of the faces that you see on TV are those of young African American males. But behind the scenes, there are a number of African American males who are doing good things, achieving academically in school. They're going on to college and eventually returning to the community and being productive citizens. And so we wanted to put the spotlight on those young men, really just to let the community know that what you see on TV in the evenings on the 6 p.m. news does not represent all of the African American community. And so that's what the Scholars Breakfast grew from. Back in 1998, I think they recognized 9 African American males. But this year, when we had our 22nd event in Hampton, we received the names of more than 700 men, young African American males, high school seniors, graduated with a 3.0 or better GPA from Hampton Roads community.
Yeah, that's a pretty high standard.
Yes, it is.
3.0. Yeah. And but it also, obviously there weren't only 9 that first year, but you've expanded your outreach to the high schools in the region to give you those names to become affiliated with your program.
Yeah, and each year when we're preparing or planning for the breakfast, we get great support from public and private schools in the region. And we send letters each year. We request the names of all of the African American males that are graduating who meet the criteria for the breakfast, and the school divisions give us those names. We send invitations. We send a congratulatory letter, a certificate of achievement, and an invitation to come to the breakfast to be recognized. And so it's turned out to be a big event. We're always proud of the number of students who turn out, their parents, grandparents, family members, and just the community at large who come out to help support and honor those young men for their achievement.
And I do like also that you're honoring the families, and this might be mom speaking here, but because any family who has a student with a 3.0 or better average, you know that they have spent a lot of time helping and nurturing and pushing a little bit.
Right.
Because getting your student to that is not always easy.
It's quite an accomplishment, and we always let the parents know, the letter that we send actually goes to the parent, inviting them and their son to come to the breakfast. So, because we want to, applaud those parents who have, kind of really worked hard with their young men and got them to that point, and we think that's very remarkable. And so we want them to know that we're honoring you as well as your young man for his academic achievement.
So these men with 3.0 or better graduating, what do they do after graduation?
Well, many of them go on to college. Our organization awards scholarships to 5. Each year we give 5 $1,000 scholarships. Our scholarship goes directly to the students to help them with those, incidental costs associated with college that, unfortunately, some young men, want to go to college. They have the grade point average and, the ability to achieve in college, but dorm deposits and, those kinds of things can sometimes be an obstacle to getting there, and that's what we want to
dorm
bridge.
Deposits, you have to have a laptop now
Yes.
at most of these colleges, and it isn't always built into the fees. And transportation can be a big hurdle depending on where they're going.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I could think that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, and many of these young men do get scholarships from colleges and universities. Some of those, partner with us on the breakfast, and so we afford them an opportunity to introduce the young men that have been accepted into their universities and to announce the scholarships and grants that have been awarded to them. So that's a big part of the breakfast as well.
So it must be this just really amazing event. And I've seen video of it, and, there's this huge long line of young men. But there's also this entire room full of people applauding and cheering, and what a moment.
We do, and we get, again, a lot of support from the community. Obviously you have parents and family members there to support the young men, but, our sponsors who show up, the school divisions purchase tables, and, school superintendents come because they want to let the young men know that they're behind them as well. So it's a large outpouring of support that we get from the community, and I think, what we know is the most powerful moment at that breakfast is when the doors open and we announce the class of 200 plus scholars, and they parade into that ballroom to a standing ovation, and you can see tears in the eyes of many people.
I got tears just watching the video clip.
Yeah, it's a very moving moment, and probably the best part of the breakfast experience that we have each year.
Now, that isn't the only thing you all do, though. You have really expanded your footprint in the community.
We have. There are a number of programs that we do in the community that we've been doing for a while. Each year when the General Assembly is in session, we charter a couple of buses and take young men up to the General Assembly to meet with the legislators. They sit in on Senate and House sessions, and usually getting introduced while they're in the gallery. They get a guided tour of the state capitol. There's a lot of history involved in that, so it's a good experience for them to go up and spend a day in Richmond to kind of understand the legislative process, the people who represent them, and get to meet them firsthand. And so we call that the Caravan to Richmond, because the first year that they went, they had 2 buses as well as a long line of cars going up. But this year we take, again, each year we take those young African-American males with us to the General Assembly. We've been doing the Caravan to Richmond for about 15 years, and so that's one that we really want to give that experience to the young men of the community.
Now, why? Let me ask what the purpose of that is. Are you hoping they will learn more about government, which helps them in school? Are you hoping they will become leaders or become involved?
Well, both. We want that, them to have that experience, that civic engagement, to understand, the importance of voting, and, the people you vote for, and that your elected representatives, what they do for you when they're in Richmond, and even to some of the laws that are enacted that will directly affect them. We want them to understand how that process works, and hopefully we do have some of those young men who are very interested in politics and government, and so they get to go, and you can tell the ones who ask a lot of questions when we have that meet and greet with members of the General Assembly while we're there. So we hope they'll do both. They'll one, understand the history of the process of representative government in Virginia and across the country, as well as to hopefully ignite a spark in them when they may want to do the same one day.
All right, and now you have a mentoring program as well?
Yes, we do. One that we're very proud of that we started 2 years ago. We have a third program we call the Brother to Brother Camp that we've been doing for about 12 years, and that camp was kind of a 4-day experience for 13 and 14-year-old kids from the region. We go to YMCA Camp Silver Beach on the Eastern Shore, usually a Thursday through Sunday, and we have straight talk sessions on it, education, attitude, and those kinds of things with the young men. But one of the questions we would always get asked by the parents is, well, do you have anything else? Do you have any other programs for the young men? And so for that reason, we formed the 200 Plus Scholars Academy, which is a multi-year mentoring program, because our goal now is to take those 13 and 14-year-olds and work with them every year, and hopefully they too will become 3.0 scholars who will be recognized at our breakfast. And so we're in year 2 of that program. Last year, 27 young men completed the program, and they'll be coming back for year 2. We have another 25 coming in for the year 1 phase of the program. So it's a growing program, and many people are asking about it around the community for kids of that age.
Those middle school years are so crucial.
Very, very important. Very
It is this transitional time where hormones have kicked in and people are learning, and any kid is going to either get on the right path or not get on the right path at that point. It's just so important. And in the schools, we don't have athletics and as many extracurricular activities for middle school students.
That's true. And so what we want to provide is a good experience for kids to expose them to, career opportunities, share some life lessons with them with, men in our organization who, have achieved a level of success and influence in the community and are willing to share their experiences and guidance with the young men. And so we just want to become a part of their village. It takes a village to raise kids, and so we just want to do our small portion of helping to impact the lives of the young men in our community and hopefully achieve great outcomes for them.
Can I also ask, does this also have this sort of side benefit of working on regionalism? Because sometimes we're so separate, Hampton Roads and the Peninsula. We have 2 chambers of commerce, for example. We're not knit together as a region very well.
Well, we are in 200 Plus Men, and and I will say that I'm kind of a regional person myself. I have born and raised in Portsmouth. Worked in Chesapeake for 26 years. I've lived in Norfolk, and now I've been in Hampton for 15 years. And so I, have a lot of relationships with people now on both sides of the water. And that's helpful with trying to connect people and 200 Plus Men to the programs and then the resources that are available to our organization to help us with what we want to do. And so having men get together from all over the region does help to bridge that gap between the peninsula and the south side to create a better community, which is what we're trying to do.
Okay. Well, what can the community do to support you? Do you need volunteers or donations?
Well, we need both. We need members. While we're Hampton Roads 200 Plus Men, we have about 125 active members. And we're not exclusively an African American organization. We accept men of all races and faith who are interested in working on the mission, and that is to kind of build a better community by achieving better outcomes for young African American males and young adult African American males in the community. So with that, we're looking for members. You can visit our website at hr200plusmen.org and click on the membership tab to join the organization. But also, we do accept donations to support the programs. Our Scholars Breakfast is our big event, but it's not really a fundraiser for the organization.
No, it must cost a lot just to cover the meals for the students and their families.
It does, and we try to keep the ticket price, as at a level that parents can afford, because we know, we get the calls where a young man in a family is getting honored. The mother wants to be there. She may be a single mom, and she may have a couple of other kids that she wants to bring. One, because she doesn't have child care for that young man or the other kids, but also people bring their younger children to the event so that those young children can be motivated by seeing their brother being honored at the event.
It's inspiring, and it shows that education matters and is important. And young kids don't always see that.
That's true. And so again, the financial support, we have endowments at the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. There is a nonprofit, 200 Plus Men Inc. is our membership organization, but then we also have the 200 Plus Men Foundation, which is our 501c3. So, people in the community can make, tax-deductible donations to the foundation, and those go to support the 200 Plus Men programs. And you can find information for both on our website at hr200plusmen.org.
Okay. All right, let me ask you just a personal question. Why do you do this? Not why you do it for the community. What do you get out of it?
Personally, I get the satisfaction to know that I'm giving back to the community. I've been fortunate to have a good career in public service. And I benefited from the people and the mentors who were in my life. Not only my father, but from the basketball coach to to my Boy Scout troop leader. All men of that type who were involved in my life, and I've always wanted to give back to the community, and to help others behind me. So really, it's a matter of using whatever experience and influence I have in the community to be able to throw back the rope and help a young man who also needs that same guidance and assistance along the way on their journey through life.
So you're sort of paying back.
Just paying back.
And moving forward. Is it rewarding, though, to get to know these men and to help them move forward?
It is, and when I get a phone call or I'm out in the street or in the community and I have my 200 Plus Men shirt on, and a young man comes up and he said, "Hey, I was a part of your breakfast," and then you strike up a conversation to find out what they're doing now in life. We have brought back men in the community now the younger generation who has now gone on to their own careers. We bring them back as speakers at our events, and so we try to connect those men in the community who have been a part of the programs that 200 Plus Men has organized, bring them back to give back as well. So it's always providing people with an opportunity to give back to the community, and in particular being able to help a group that I think is challenged in our community, and that is African American males. And so the young men have a lot of potential, a lot of talent, and we want to see what we can do to try to connect them to better opportunities where we can.
Okay. Is there anything you want to add that I haven't asked about?
Well, I just want to let the community know that the Hampton Roads Committee of 200 Plus Men, we're a regional organization, and so if you're interested in joining our organization, visit our website at hr200plusmen.org. We meet on the second Saturday of the month. Meetings now are in Hampton. We do meet this Saturday, the 14th of the month, and so we're just interested in having men in the community who want to share and help us work toward our mission to join us on this journey that we're on to build a better community at Hampton Roads.
Well, we thank you for that. That's
thank you.
Wonderful volunteer and way to give back.
Thank you. Good.
And thank you for watching. I hope you've learned a little bit about this organization, and if you have time, energy, and/or money to contribute, rewarding and stimulating and motivating success is important to all of us in all the wide Hampton Roads community. Thanks for watching.